So as I was saying in this part, outcome statement, it says what will students be able to do with the information. So in this part, the curriculum states like meaningful things that are going to be useful for your students, okay? All the meaningful information for your students. Then we have essential resources. What will you use to teach your class and what will students use to learn, okay? So in this part, you're going to select essential resources, okay? What pages, what textbooks are you gonna use, okay? And also all the tools that you need in order to make your students learn, okay? Like maybe platforms, maybe websites, maybe a program for practicing in English, for example. There are many platforms that you can use. There are many tools that you can use, etc. Right? Strategy framework. What teaching approach will you use? Here, in this part, pay special attention because here you're going to first think about your students, about their learning styles, about their needs, and then you can select one approach or maybe more than one in order to meet students' needs, you know, because that is essential. You know, if you don't think about your students' needs, then you're gonna be in troubles because you're gonna be there teaching, but with no sense. You know what I mean? So in this case, you have to think twice. Now, verification method. How will you know that you're effectively teaching? In this case, has to do with evaluations. Okay, feedback, assessments, and all that. Okay. For example, if you are teaching something, right? If you're teaching at school and you're teaching something, how do you know that your students are learning? Well, easily. You can ask them to prove it. You can ask them for meaningful things like maybe creating a role play. Imagine that you were teaching, imagine that last week you were teaching greetings in English. Okay, now this week you have practiced a lot with your students, and this week you want them to show what they have learned. So what would you do? Well, you start thinking about strategies, assessments, activities in order to make them show what they know. It can be role plays, etc. There are many things that you can do there. Now, standards alignment. How well do you adhere to federal, state, or school standard for your course? Now, this has to do with legal stuff, and it has to do with every local authorities. In our case, it's just the Minet. In USA, they have different educational system, you know. But here in El Salvador, we have the Minet, which is the institution that rules everything in El Salvador in formal education, of course. Now we're gonna read something here. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask. Let me see. I'm gonna ask Walter. Can you help me with the reading, Walter?
Yes.
Okay.
What exactly is curriculum? I recall one distinct shocking moment as a new teacher. It was when a mentor teacher was onboarding me. She walked me to my classroom, opened a cabinet door rather proudly, showed me two shelves filled with textbook and supplementary materials, worksheets, assignment guides, and said, "This is your sixth grade math curriculum."
Hmm. Thank you very much. Now, this is an experience of a teacher, right? Of a new teacher. So, and he or she said, I recall one distinct shocking moment as a new teacher. It was when a mentor teacher was onboarding me. So imagine yourself in a school, your first day, right? And a teacher walked to you to the classroom and opened a cabinet door, and she showed you like two shelves filled with textbooks and supplementary materials like worksheets, assessment guides, etc. Right? and he or she says, okay, here you have. So so what would you think, man? You probably would be like, what is this, right? Now, all the things that she mentioned it as a curriculum was part of the curriculum, right? Probably in the bunch of things in the cabinet, uh, they had the resources that they're gonna need for teaching a class, or maybe not a class, but they had, I imagine that like 5 books and maybe the program of the subjects, maybe worksheets and all that stuff for evaluating students, and that's why the teacher, referred to those bunch of texts and bunch of papers as a curriculum, right? Um, Putting yourself into this context, right? We would affirm that curriculum is not just about having a bunch of materials. It involves more aspects, right? Like creativity, like background, um, cultural aspects, and all that. It's not just about having all the text. It's not about having the program. It's also includes teachers' motivation. It includes um, teacher skills, for sharing the knowledge, for transmitting what he or she knows, you know, changing on finding the way of giving the content to students, So it involves more than just text, assessments, and worksheets, okay? However, all these aspects mentioned here are part of the curriculum, okay? Now, we're gonna continue with the story here. Now, I'm gonna read this one. So it says, flipping through the materials, so the teacher here in this case, she was checking, right? Flipping means like checking. She was flipping through the materials. I could not believe my eyes. The materials were barely different from when I was a student. They were still talking about agricultural stats from the 1960s. In one of the word problems, and the agricultural stat was not particularly relevant to my students or to me. Perhaps what was most shocking to me was that this was all that my mentor teacher had provided. A bunch of worksheets made by a textbook publisher? Really? Is this how kids were to be taught in the 21st century? Did all textbooks equal their current curriculum? Now, this teacher wonders how in the world you're gonna teach nowadays students with text from 1960s. How in the world are you gonna have worksheets, made by textbooks publishers? You know what I mean? So she was basically criticizing the system. And this is happening in our public education. Sadly, it is very, very sad to find information from the 80s, from the 70s, and this information is being used until today. I'm not saying that traditional documents or textbooks or resources from 10 years ago are bad. What I'm saying is that education should be changing. So if you have technological students or millennials and the generation Z, have you ever seen these generations? No. Have you ever heard about the generations? No. Yes or no? Have you ever heard in memes in Facebook talk about millennials?
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a quick explanation about millennials. Millennials are people that were born with technology, okay? So they were born with technology, with computers, with cell phones, you know? Now there is a new generation, which is the generation Z, okay, which is also technological. So millennials, as well as generation Z, they don't like libraries. They don't like to read that much. They are more visuals. They are used to get the information fast, okay? So imagine that I'm working with millennials and I ask you to use a dictionary, okay, and to look for 10 words in your dictionaries. So you're probably gonna be complaining at me. You're gonna be like, teacher, come on, I have a cell phone. I can find the concept easily in 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So what this teacher was criticizing in this case was the way of the teacher that gave her the curriculum or the part of the curriculum, because education should change. You know what I mean? And everything is changing with the time. So we need to make some improvements. You know, we need to make some improvements, and we need to change the way of teaching. I cannot teach the same way as I did it in the last semester. You know, I have to change things. So I have to reflect what went wrong and what went okay. You know, I have learned a lot from last semester to this one, and I have put it into practice. And teachers, we have to do that, okay? Even if you have a failed curriculum, you have to modify it. You have to juggle with what you have. You know what I mean? So knowing that, and based on our reality here in El Salvador, then we need to make an impact in our students. We need to create change, you know. And how are we going to do that? Teaching with our hearts, okay? If you're not willing to teach with your heart, then we're not changing anything, okay? Okay, we're gonna continue with this teacher story that it's wonderful. So Ada, would you mind reading? Hello, Ada, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, would you mind reading, please?
sure. And I ended up making my own video content, curricular lessons, and others to aid the curriculum, all the while focusing on this key question. What skills do I need to keep them with says in sixth grade and higher, both both in and outside their classroom life?
Thank you very much. So she said, I ended up making my own materials, video content, cross-curricular lessons, and others to aid in the curriculum, all the while focusing on these key questions. What skills do I need to equip them with for their success in sixth grade and higher, both and outside their classroom life? Now, this has to do a little bit of what I was explaining. Sometimes you can have a program, you can have the curriculum, the textbooks, but it's your decision what to teach, okay? So if you think that an activity or a topic that is in the textbook, in the program that the school has given you is not meaningful, then it's your job to make it meaningful, okay? I want you guys to be great teachers. I want you guys to be the change that we need. So based on that, I want you to react, okay? If you have a program, if you have some skills, make sure that you take into account your students' needs, okay? Make sure you ask them for feedback, okay? Make sure you tell them, hey, what do you think about this activity? Do you think this would be good for you, right? Don't kill students motivation, okay? And please change the things that are happening in education, okay? So never forget that we need a change, okay? We need a change. And you are the owner of the class when you're teaching, so you can select the content and you can give them, okay, what you think is going to be useful for them. All right? So right now, what we're going to do is this. We're going to have, let me see. Well, we're going to have two teams, okay? We're going to have two teams right now. And I am Mr. President, okay? I am Mr. President right now. And I'm going to hire you. I'm going to hire all of you as ministries of education. So what I want you to do is to give some ideas about how can we improve our national curriculum, okay? So think about it. How can you improve our national curriculum? In your groups, you are going to discuss what things can you do in order to change it, okay? In order to improve it. And then after that, you're going to select one person from the group to share with the whole class, okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes? Any questions so far? Questions?
Everything is clear.
Perfect. So let's go to the small groups and let's discuss, okay? Go on. Hey, you can start.
What are your ideas about what the teacher said? Anybody has an idea about it?
Mm, I think that to change the curriculum is necessary to make a very very high review about the situation that schools are causing and the way the teachers are teaching because as we know the technology is here and we have to adapt to the new technologies to teach better in the classrooms. I don't know. What do you think?
What the other one think about it? Wendy, Natalie, Katie, share your opinions, your ideas.
Well, as my classmate said, students need to know about technology because nowadays it's really important to know how to use a computer or even a cell phone. And also, English is really important because if we know another language, we um, we can get a good job, for example, in another country. It's my opinion. Another opinion.
I think, and I consider one one of the important thing that the curriculum has to have is about motivation, about the students and the teacher. One of the things that could be included is how to teach magic. I don't know if you have watched a video about teacher the teachers that have magic and
Yeah, that's perfect.
I have an
According,
idea.
uh-huh.
Go on. Go ahead.
Okay, I think the teachers who teach English need to know English because I'm going to give you an example. Um, I have a friend who and she studied math, but in the school she's studying English. So there is a big problem because the teacher doesn't know English. So that is something we had to change because some teachers are not able to teach English, and for that reason, students are not able to learn.
That's right.
Of course, one of the is one
Even
of the
I,
main purposes. Be-
I think some teachers are subjects. They are prepared for math teacher, but they also keep giving English. So I think they know a little bit of English only. So I think the education should focus on teacher, but only in one subject.
that's
Yes,
right.
and we need to invest more money for it.
and also adapt the teachers so to the subjects that they are professional, right? Because one of the main problems that we have in our education systems is that we have teachers teaching English, but they study to teach mathematics, right? For example. So I think that we should change that in our country, in our educational system.
I had the same situation when I was in high school. I had a teacher who I remember he used to teach language, I think, and someday I found it in a classroom. Well, to my group of classmates teaching English. So I think
It's
that
really
that was
difficult.
yeah. The teacher he was trying to do his work, but it's not the right thing. And
Yeah.
you're right, guys. That at the point that uh, teach or it had to do with the human resources about teachers. English, we need English teachers. That's the point, and not
Yes.
and this is the idea to take to pay attention about the what resources do we have in a school.
All right. And also motivate the teachers to innovate their lesson plans, right?
Yes, that's right.
Maybe more training for them.
Yes.
All right. One of the aspects that I remember from one of the teachers, and it says that in El Salvador, teachers are really individual because they in other countries they create their lesson plans together, right? in this country they work in an individual, right? I think that if we were more joined or we work together or try to share ideas as teachers, we will have a
Result.
better, right. Teacher says that we have 1 minute to choose one person.
I don't
Right?
know. I don't know if, as a group, we are going to decide who wants to explain all the points, or the teacher is going to decide who wants to participate. To tell the group, tell the group what we are talking about.
Yes,
Uh,
it's time to decide.
I think we need to choose one.
Okay.
Who?
Who is?
Alban, you
I
can
know.
you can do it.
No.
Why?
Okay.
Okie dokie. Welcome back. I sent you a message about that you were going to select one person for giving the main ideas of the things that you were discussing. Hopefully you have had time for selecting somebody to participate, and it's time to share. Would you mind telling me how much time we have left for the video conference, for the, for the call? Because I can't see it here. Can somebody tell me?
I can see it.
You can't see it.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Okay. Alguien que pueda ver, chicos, el tiempo que llevamos de la videollamada para determinar cuánto nos queda ya, porque no lo puedo visualizar ahorita.
So we're starting the meetings. Sorry, I think we have 12 minutes
Like 12
in the
minutes.
second, and the second video conference.
Okay. Okay, so
We
we
Yes,
have,
spent
all right.
more money.
okay, so we have time then. All right, so who is the first participant? Who's the one that is going to participate first? Hmm? We had only 2 groups, so it's not hard to decide.
Hello.
Yes?
Okay, in our group, we were discussing about to pay attention to identify resources, and we were discussing about teachers. It's about the reality in our national educational system. There is a problem that teachers who teaching, for example, language, are teaching English,
Yes.
and we don't have English teachers in, for example, some public schools. Well, most of the schools have this problem, and another point that to set up objectives, aims, and what else? Well, the teachers have to improve their strategies to develop better ways to teach English, and to pay attention to the student needs. That it's one of the most important parts of the process to develop or to improve the curriculum. And another detail that we figured out was that most of English teachers have to develop as a personal curriculum, was a personal program here, because English teachers don't share or don't or cannot, or they cannot sharing ideas with other teachers to discussing or for example, create ideas about how to work with students. That was our points.
Excellent, Alban. There were nice points of view, nice opinions, and then you are right. That's happening in our educational system. You know, we have teachers for another subjects teaching English, and they do it because they need to work and because they don't have specialized people in the area, and that's a really bad thing that is happening in our system. I know that. I'm aware of it. And I feel sorry for that, you know, for the kids and for the teachers. Because imagine if you are a math teacher and then the principal of the school tells you, okay, you're going to teach English, right? It's not fun. It's not
You have
fun.
to translate this paragraph.
Exactly.
And so on.
I mean, or you just tell the students, okay, open your books. We're going to work on page 5. And then students start like trying to fill up things, but they don't know what they're doing. That's not meaningful education. And then sadly, it's part of our reality. Okay, group number 2. Who is the representative of that group? I remember that Wendy Avila was there, Katie was there. I think also Denny, if I'm not wrong.
Mister, I want to say something about
Okay.
They were 3 of us that we shared opinions. Two of them said that we had to include more technology to our system because the students are more technological people that are interested in learning with that different ways. And the rest of the people didn't say anything, but my opinion was like my classmate was telling you to reinforce what my classmate was telling. There is a video which is called Magic. No, teaching. No, magic can be taught.
Okay.
And 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 the guy who said that, they said that you can hold attention like the people, the rapper says with the sign when they are singing and the gesture they do it, call the attention of the public is one strategy that we can acquire to catch the attention of the students. Another thing that he say is when I don't know how to say this in English. Los curas
Sorry?
or los what?
What do you say?
Los padres, curas or pastores.
Oh, preachers. Preach.
I didn't hear.
Un preach
Okay.
sería un predicador. Un padre o cura sería un priest.
That one.
Okay.
And that how the people call the attention of the public saying, "Can you give me amen?" So everybody say amen. That's that people use to call the attention of the public, and we can acquire or adapt that methodology to encourage our students.
All right. Excellent. So thanks for sharing. And again, I'm going to invite you to participate in the breakout rooms, okay? Participate, give your opinion, okay? Talk, share. If you don't do it, if you don't work collaboratively, then it's gonna be difficult to learn, okay? Don't be selfish. Try to share your knowledge with others. Remember that human beings, we learned through communicating, you know, stuff, emotions, ideas, opinions, etc. Discussions are important. So I don't know if you have any issue or problem in your house with the noise, or if you feel ashamed or something, but please try to get involved, you know, please try to practice and participate. You guys need that, you know, you need it, you know, so make sure you participate, okay? Because in some groups, some of you don't even accept the invitation, so you're not kids anymore, so make sure you participate, okay? It's for your own good, okay? It's not for my own good. So hopefully you improve that part as well. So we're gonna end this part of the call with this last text that it says. I mean, continue with the girl that was sharing this experience. Since then, I have developed a passion for the meaning of curriculum. Here is what I believe curriculum is and is not. So, curriculum is not a textbook, nor the materials, videos, and worksheets that help us instruct students. It is the knowledge and skills that students are expected to learn as they progress through our school system. Okay? So according to this teacher, curriculum is not textbook, nor materials, videos, or worksheets, right? It is the knowledge and skill that students are expected to learn. So the curriculum for this teacher is basically all those skills, right, that you want your students to develop. All right, keep it in mind because it's important. The textbooks my mentor showed me, she said, should have been a piece of a puzzle, not the complete puzzle. So, in other words, books, videos, worksheets, assessments, materials, everything is part of it. However, is not the whole thing, okay? Those complementary resources are part of the curriculum. However, the most essential part of the curriculum is the teacher and the students. So you can convert and you can modify things in order to make your students meet their needs, okay? So keep it in mind. For ending up the presentation, I'm gonna ask you again to join another call, and in 20 minutes we're gonna finish, okay? So I'll see you in 30 seconds.